Hello, I'm John.
And I'm Sophia.
And welcome to the brand new series of the Young Leaders Podcast, coming to you from our studio in the brand new Youth Hub here at YMCA North Staffordshire. We've certainly been busy recently with world records and celebrations. There's always been something exciting going on. Just have a look.
For more on what we've been up to lately, check out our news update, Newsworthy.
But today we're excited to kick off Series 3 of the Young Leaders Podcast. Hello to all our regular listeners, and for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. We're all about giving tomorrow's leaders a voice today.
Join us as young people share their ideas and insights on matters that are close to their hearts. We'll also have a look at how they can make a difference in North Staffordshire. So, where shall we begin?
So today we're looking at mental health and creative outlets. And we're delighted to be joined by award-winning writer extraordinaire, Emma Fitzsimmons.
Hello, nice to be here.
Hi Emma, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Emma, tell us a bit about yourself.
I am a youth engagement specialist here at the YMCA North Staffordshire. I have 2 degrees in creative writing and I like to merge the two together.
So I suppose the best place to start is going to be, basic question, why do you think mental health is important?
I think I'm going to reframe that slightly and say I think the upkeep of mental health is important. It feeds into all aspects of life. If you don't have very good mental health, it's going to affect your motivation, it's going to affect your quality of life, it's going to affect how many opportunities that you see and then how many opportunities you take. Whereas if you are in a position to take good care of your mental health and it is doing quite well, you're quite mentally healthy, you're more likely to have more of a positive outlook, kind of see more opportunities, take more opportunities, and it's a very good foundation to have in your life. I'd say quite a necessary foundation to start building on.
I really like how you added that mental health shouldn't be taken for granted, really. What has been helping you personally or in your professional life as well, perhaps in maintaining your mental health? How does creativity tie into that for you?
Creativity is really important in keeping everything level, both in professional and personal life in terms of mental health, because it's not black and white. I feel like you think about creativity, you think like colourful, you think like messy, and mental health can be messy and it's necessary, as is creativity. It's messy, it's necessary, it's like life. For example, like with activities I do with the young people here at the YMCA, if I were to knock on someone's door and say, right, I want you to come downstairs now, I want you to solve some maths equations for me, and the whole day is riding on whether or not you get these maths equations right. It's very black and white, there's a lot of pressure built up, but if I knock on someone's door and go, hey, come downstairs, I'm doing a little creative workshop, you can just do what you feel like, then there's that a lot less pressure on them. And there's no expectation either. I think that lack of expectation / like low risk factor of it is really, really reassuring for anyone who might be struggling with mental health, because, like I say, it's quite low risk, high reward. It's quite fun and chill, so you can just come and you're not gonna get like poached if you do something like that you think might be wrong.
Even just that sort of community you built up for that, even if it's just an hour session, 2-hour session, that must have quite a positive effect on people's mental health, just that feeling of belonging, whether they're sort of doing the activity or all like working together, or it's just that feeling of well-being together.
But sometimes I do have young people who will just come to the activities just to chill out, and they'll say that, they'll be like, I'm just here to chill, and that's fine, but it's good because it's already such a low pressure environment that even if they feel comfortable just chilling, and even that, just the act of getting someone out of their usual space and into another room with other people in it for a day, or for an hour, where you're just doing creative things and just letting your mind wander, it's so much more beneficial than you realise.
Do you feel like structured environments, like for example schools, help support creativity, or are they actually imposing limitations on creativity sometimes?
I think in some ways they do put limitations on creativity, because even say you're in school, for example, you're doing art GCSE, rarely in my experience and the people I've talked to's experiences have they just gone, have at it, do whatever you want. Usually it's you've got to fall into certain subjects, whatever you want to call it, in order to obtain a grade. So it's easy in school to feel like when you're working for a certain grade that you're limited at certain levels or at certain topics, like you're being kind of talked over by, like grade boundaries and by rubric and stuff like that. You need to tick certain boxes to get a grade, and therefore you can't always reach the level of creativity or like out of the boxedness. I'm going to claim that as a word. Because you can't express yourself as much as you want to, as fully as you want to, because you're aiming for a grade and that pinpoints what you're doing. However, I do think in another way, if you look at it in another way, I think school also pushes you as well with those limitations of creativity, because they're forcing you to think outside of your box of what you would want to do and think, well, how can I still be just as creative but still get just as high like quality work? So I think sometimes it pushes you in another direction that you might not want, but it still doesn't quite limit you as such. And again, like if you are studying anything creative at school, if it's successful, even if it's not successful, you take away that passion with you that then drives you to like do it in your personal life as well. If there's something you can't quite do at school, you might think, oh, I'm going to go home and do it though. And that's the beauty of it. It spills out everywhere and it can't be contained.
Comes back to the fact that nothing is really black and white, is it?
No, nothing is. It's fantastic. Creativity stems from passion. It stems from imagination and pushing your own limits, pushing your mind's own limits. It can't be measured by how many people like it, what kind of a grade you get. For those of people listening who might be doing their art GCSEs like I did, or art A-level like I did, you always hear like, oh, but it's subjective. How can they grade you? It's subjective. And it is. And it's so important to remember that. I think success within creativity, whether it's photography, writing, fine art, textiles, whatever you want to whatever you want to name creativity by and define it by, it comes from the amount of contentedness that you get within yourself for creating it. If you can have fun making it, if you can have fun producing it and looking at it when you're done and being like, I made that, I did that myself. That is the success you should measure it by. You should never measure it by external validation of any kind.
One of the phrases I hate most from any creative person is, oh, I'm an aspiring author. I'm an aspiring musician. Well, do you write? Do you play music? You are an author.
You're an author.
You are a musician. There's no aspiring. You are that. You're doing it.
Exactly.
Well done.
Exactly.
So do you have any particular creative outlets that make you feel better?
I'm not sure I have many hobbies that aren't creative, to be fair, but there's reading, dancing, crocheting, of course, writing. I would say writing is probably the most cathartic in a way.
What about you, Sophia?
I think creativity for me is also movement, like moving your body in a creative way and just letting it flow, because I think I'm a very controlled person on a day-to-day, so sometimes I just need to let my hair down and let it all go. But I do agree with you, Emma, that writing can really help giving your thoughts a free flow again, just sitting down with a notebook. It doesn't even need to make sense. You mentioned something earlier about it being a sensory method of sort of switching your mind off. Can you just delve a little bit more into that aspect, how creativity helps you manage your mental health? Like, for example, with writing, what do you do? What are the methods that you use to get through a hard day?
One exercise I've done when I've led creative writing sessions here at the YMCA, which I do at home as well, it's really, really good for managing mental health, especially after a bad day, is just rewriting your day in the ideal way that you wish it had have gone if you've had a bad day. It's really good, this exercise, because you don't have to be, and I have a problem with people going, I can't write, I'm not good at creative writing. Everyone is good at creative writing. It doesn't have to be really, really elaborate. You just have to, get some words down. If you can't write very well, text to speech, that kind of thing. But so you've had a really bad day, you come home, you're feeling really rotten, and you're like, I wish that day had gone better. You can just, as you say, get out an old notepad. I like the old ones because then sometimes there's pressure if you have a really nice notepad and you think, I don't want to write anything unworthy.
Yeah, I do get that.
So just go get a really old battered notepad, really tattered, whatever, battered and tattered, I like that rhyme. And just write down just how your day's gone. It can be so simple. It can just be, I got on the bus, I had some toast, I got to work, it didn't go well, came home. Easy. Then rewrite it in the way that your ideal day would have gone. And in doing that, it doesn't have to be creative, you don't have to set a scene, you don't have to act like you're, award-winning author or anything like that. It helps you reflect and kind of pick apart what went wrong, why it went wrong, and it helps you reflect on how you might be able to change that in the future if you ever have a bad day like that again. Just really helps just break it all down in your head, helps you process it. I'm sure we've all done this, where you've come home, you had a bad day and you just spiral a bit and you're thinking, thoughts are good, but they pile up. So the act of getting that all onto paper, even just in a factual way, is amazing. And it's really good because it calms you down, helps you reflect, helps you feel more prepared for if it happens again. And just that level of reflection on the day can really elevate how prepared you are for the next day, and just helps build that strong foundation for your mental health, really.
Sounds like a fantastic method, actually, to just find an informal way where you yourself can seize that power and take control of your own mental health and help yourself, and stop waiting for maybe external services to help you. We did that consultation, didn't we, last year, John, about Stoke-on-Trent and how people experience services in the area, and many young people told us that they don't get enough timely support and appropriate support through the mental health services here in North Staffs. With you also teaching creative writing to some of our young residents here at the YMCA, have you noticed the change in them when they started experimenting with that creative side within themselves, how that maybe help their mental health?
Yes, so I did a short programme that was quite closely monitored by myself last year. We did a good few months. Every week we'd do 2 hours of creative writing on a Thursday, and then we ended up creating a zine called Storycraft, full of all of their creative writing. And throughout these sessions, every few weeks I'd give these paper forms that said how are you finding it? Are you feeling like you're getting better? Are you feeling like your mental health's improving? Stuff like that. And from their feedback, they said absolutely yes. I think on average, they improve by 3 points over the course, from 5 to 8, for example, on a scale of 1 to 10, which is fantastic.
Results, yeah.
But also just from me watching them and interacting with them, the amount of confidence that they got from it. I think a lot of people started the classes and they came along, which was a huge honour to begin with, but I'd hear a lot of things I can't do creative writing, I'm not a writer, I can't write, I can't do it. And they'd get that confidence to be comfortable showing, or even just writing, and you just see them go from people who would come and maybe not write, to people who would come and write but not show. I remember one person got to a stage where she'd come in, she'd write, and then she'd go, right, I'm going. And I'd go, do you want to share your work? And she'd go, you can read it out loud, but I'm going to leave before you do that. So she'd leave the room, we'd read it out. It was fantastic. And then the next week she came and she was happy with someone else reading it out with her in the room. And then, stuff like that. So then, just seeing them grow in that confidence, it was amazing. And it's not just limited to creative confidence then, because that feeling that you're trying something new and that you're sticking at it and that you're improving at it just makes you feel better overall as well. And you could see it in people's dispositions, they were just more confident approaching other new things as well.
I completely agree about the confidence as well, because I was at quite a few of those sessions, and I remember another participant who was similar. They went from no one is reading this, no one is looking at this at all. We asked them once, can we read it? And they said no, but you can next week, because they were going to spend that entire week working on it and redrafting it and punching it up. When we launched up the zine, Emma threw this big party for all the participants, everyone who contributed to it, cakes and drinks. It was an amazing evening. But a lot of people read out their works and they were so excited. I think they were the first person to volunteer, or one of the very first to go, no, I'll do it. And just seeing that journey from being so reserved to being proud to share what they'd done.
It was amazing, wasn't it? It almost reminds me of caring for a plant. At first you're like, this is a plant, I bought it from the shop, it's nice, but it's just a plant. And then after a bit you're like, this is my baby. I'm so proud of, I've kept this baby alive. This baby has new leaves now, it's growing. It's kind of the same thing. You see them at first they're like, I'll poke it with a stick, it's not, I'm not bothered. And then you see them sort of go, oh, I've done this. Wow, I've done this. And it's fantastic. You see that pride grow in them. Rightly so. They should be so proud of themselves.
Every single person who took part in those sessions should be so proud
They should be.
of what they've accomplished.
I'm still like, I like burn with pride. I'm like, wow about it. I'm like a, I don't know, shooting star. I'm just like, yeah. Like whenever I think about it, it just makes me so proud of them. They should hold on to that.
So obviously we're big supporters of the creative arts in general. Do you think creativity is dismissed or looked down on as a career or sort of in terms of treatment? Or do you just feel it's kind of overlooked in general?
I think both of those are true. I think they can be dismissed and overlooked. I think in my personal experience, I have been told, like, get a real job, do a real degree. Like the amount of times when I was doing both my bachelor's and my master's degrees, people would hear, oh, English lit and creative writing, and then just creative writing, they were like, it's a fake degree, isn't it? Like clearly you just, like you're not even doing a real degree, which isn't true.
And you point out that, well, technically, all jobs are made up.
All jobs are
all
made
degrees,
up.
No degrees real. It's just a piece of paper.
It is just a piece of paper, but I think sometimes it's easy to think that because something's not rooted in fact, that it's like not real. I don't know how creativity can sometimes be thought of as just something that's limited to what you can do in a spare hour that you have of a day. All lives are rooted in creativity. Everyone goes home and they'll read a book, they'll listen to music, they'll watch a movie. Like all of that comes from creativity. It's at the root of every single thing that we do. And yet, sometimes it can be dismissed. But I do think that it is slowly being recognised as more of a genuine calling. I do think overall people are beginning to respect those careers for what they are, which is very necessary and very challenging sometimes.
I'm really glad that basically you've said exactly what you've said, because it always annoys me when people say film's not a real job, or any creative outlet. But I was the same when I told people I wanted to be a filmmaker, they would go, oh, that's not real. But within the first half hour of meeting someone, I can almost guarantee one of the first questions you're going to ask is, what are you watching right now? Or what's your favourite film? Or what's your favourite book? We bond over art and culture, and it's all throughout the history of man. Like cave paintings in France, it's one of the earliest records of human civilization is art. It's in our nature to create and to tell stories and share stories. There's a real community aspect to all these things as well.
Yes.
There's a difference between watching a comedy in an empty room. You will be silent the entire time. If you've got an audience with you, it's that shared joy makes everything funnier, making you enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Creativity is a very valuable career. I think we all agree in this room about that. What do you think, you who is living the dream in that way, sort of getting to exercise your creativity through your work, where do you think would be a good place to start building a creative career?
I would recommend find your niche, definitely. Like find what it is that you like doing creatively, because you can't force it. So you need to know what it is that you like so you can get into your groove. Volunteering, find some volunteering jobs, or just look online. Like Arts Jobs has a good amount of stuff. You can filter it by region, filter it by if you want it paid, voluntary, part-time. They're really good. Keep in mind that if you wanted to get into a creative career, some of it is often freelance, so don't always expect full-time opportunities. Look for just small ones that you can add to your portfolio. And remember that not like one size doesn't fit all. It looks different for everybody, so just remember to be content with what it is. So long as you're doing what you love, try and have that be enough, and maybe pick up like a more boring full-time job if you want, so like keep the
Honestly, I think we could sit and chat about this all day. I'm afraid we are going to have to leave it there. We want to say a massive thank you to Emma for coming on the show. It's been great to chat with you and hear your thoughts, and we'd love to have you back on in the future.
Thank you guys for having me. Welcome to be back as well.
We will have you back. Don't you worry about that.
This is a threat.
And of course, a big thank you to those who've made this show possible, like the guys on the youth governance team, Adam, our podcast coach, and the guys manning the desk and the cameras.
We want to ask you, what do you do for your mental health? Are you a writer, an artist, something else entirely? Let us know in the comments. And make sure to subscribe to the Young Leaders podcast and follow us on social media so you never miss an update.
Be sure to join us next time.
But for now, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Young Leaders podcast.